there we go. I think we have found the campsite for tonight. I think this will do. Nimbus UL2. How exciting. Yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead basically and we're gonna talk about everything that I can think of about this tent, because honestly, listen, I'm not a gear reviewer. Do I look like a gear reviewer? Do I look like a, listen, I have an Osprey pack. Do I look like a gear reviewer? I don't think so. But I have not been able to find a single video review of this tent online anywhere. Even Mountain Hardware doesn't have a video on this tent. They have a video on the One Person, which to be fair is likely, I mean, it is, I'm sure, just a smaller version of this tent, but there are questions that the people want answered. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna talk about just, setup, packability. We're gonna talk about some of the outside features. I have a few comments on, there are a few negative review points that people bring up when they're reviewing this tent on websites like REI, or actually Backcountry, I think is the website I was reading the reviews on. So we'll talk about those, and then we'll talk about the interior of the tent, what kind of space you have to work with. I'm 6'2", so if that's relevant to you, I know that was something I was really curious about when I was buying the tent. So yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll talk about that. Let's get it set up first. There's nothing about this tent that is all that crazy, to be honest, but it is very light. I have a Mir Lanshan 1. You guys are probably familiar with that. And I used that for a couple of weeks back last summer. That was great. It weighs about 2.2 pounds. This thing, I think, weighs 2 pounds. I think that's what its packed weight is, not including the stakes. I've weighed them. I've done science. I've held one in one hand, one in the other, and I have compared the two myself, and anecdotally, I can tell you this one's lighter. I'm not really sure, but here we go. Okay, so here we have the two pieces, the Rainfly right here and the main body of the tent. The brighter among you will have already put those two and two together. So you have one pole that runs down the back of the tent, and you have two poles up front. Okay, so one of the things that people found to be controversial, if you look up reviews of the Strato, which is the closest I could find, there were some people who were talking about these little loops right here, these little things, and the fact that your hooks are actually on the tent. Now, I do not find this to be a problem. I don't know that I could do it one-handed, so it may not be as easier. It may not be as easy as when the hooks are on the tent itself, but if I put the camera down here, it's not going to be too hard to put these on. It's not a big deal. You got to fiddle with it the very first time that you mess with it, but after that, really no problem. You do have to stake out, so I guess this would technically be semi-freestanding. You do have to stake out these back corners to fully substantiate the footbox. Actually still using the stake bag from my Mir. It's a little bigger and allows me to fit my little patch kits in it as well, so that's convenient. All right, so I got this staked out. Let's put the fly on. Now actually, before I do that, let me address one common complaint that I was seeing in the reviews, which was that this tent was missing guy lines. No! All right, so I'm assuming that this right here is the specific loop that was not being guyed, that was being complained about in question. Now, first of all, mine came with guy lines. So I don't know if they just got unlucky or what's up with that, but mine came with guy lines, so we're okay there. Yes, I'm basically a walking advertisement for Mountain Hardware. I'm not sponsored. I have no subscribers, so this is an unbiased review. I bought this tent myself. I just happen to like their stuff. I think it's aesthetic, and their quality's never let me down. But yeah, so I mean, first of all, I got the guy lines. Second of all, if you're using the Rainfly, which I get that you might not always want to, it's a clear night. If you're using the Rainfly actually clips to the tent and then guys it out. Let me show you what I mean. You have this little loop-de-doo right here, this little tether, and you actually hook this to the tent, and then you guy out the Rainfly. All right, so the sweet and short of it, as far as packability and setup, packs up well, it's light, sets up well, no problems there, no guy line issues or anything, it's all good to go. Let's go ahead and make our way inside. I have a vestibule. I'm not gonna spend too long talking about some of these little things. I mean, you have a vestibule, whatever. It has its little cord. You can see though, granted my bag is full right now, but trying to fit one of these bags in here, that's gonna take up most of your vestibule. So, all right, but instead let's go ahead and unpack. So what I did just there, went ahead and put my backpack inside of the tent. And that to me was always one of the main draws of a two-person tent. I don't know if you guys have this problem, but I just constantly leave stuff in my backpack. I gotta go in and out of my tent to find it, but being able to just stow it in there is so nice. It probably had a few ticks on it, and then I'll regret that, but we'll see. All right, so this brings us to one of the most important parts of the video, the interior of the tent. You can see, listen, like I say, I'm 6'2", I can sit up straight just fine. No problems changing in here or anything. You might be able to see my feet, they're right there at the edge. If I moved my pad to the middle, it wouldn't be touching the screen. And so I will say, this is not a Z-Packs tent that's made for people who are 8 feet tall or anything. If you're tall, you're gonna have typical tall people problems. Good news is this is a 2-wall tent and your sleeping bag really shouldn't get that damp. I slept in here. The reason I bought this tent was so I could sleep in here with my girlfriend. So I had this 25-inch pad here, a large Thermarest X-Lite, and then I had a 20-inch wide foam pad right next to it, right along this space down here, and we both slept just fine in here. I never noticed the netting or anything. It was no problem. You really mostly don't notice it. Despite the fact that this isn't the longest tent, you end up being a-okay. So yeah, lots of room, totally good to go. You got room for all your gear if you are solo camping, and that is something that I appreciate. All right, well, let me go ahead and hit y'all with the final thoughts. Oh, hey, check out the little netting. You also got netting here. Some storage pockets over here on the side. Whoops, there we go. You got some storage pockets over here on the side, down by your head, and also by your partner's head right over there. So those were very, very useful. All right, well, I think we're gonna go ahead and call things good there. As far as a final summary of my thoughts, the tent is fine if you're tall, fine if you're 6'2". If you're much taller than 6'2", you might start to have problems, but up to 6'2", I was doing okay, I was doing fine. Fits 2 people just fine as long as you don't both require 25-inch pads, and it fits your gear if you're solo camping, and it's light, and it packs down well. So yeah, lots of good things to say about it. If I have any new thoughts in the morning, I will lengthen the video, but other than that, I think that's about all. I hope this was helpful. Please leave any comments down below with any questions that you have, because like I say, it was kind of hard to find much information. So yeah, let me know.